Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session inside the soil placement process student perspectives from top recruiters. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. Today's discussion is designed to give you a clear first hand understanding of how placements are actually built during the PGDM and PGPM programs at soil. Not just the outcomes, but the preparation, the process, and the mindset behind it. We are joined today by two students who have recently secured their roles at leading organizations. Tanmay Kaushal, a management trainee at Aditya Birla Capital, and Aditi Shukla, a portfolio manager at Oxane Partners. Over the next 40 minutes, we will cover their background and career journeys, why they chose to pursue an MBA, how they approached the placement preparation, what selection process actually looked like, and what truly helped them stand out. We will then open the floor for audience questions for the final 20 minutes. So let's begin by understanding their journey, shall we? So, Tanmay, let me start with you first.
Yeah,
Could you briefly tell us about your background before joining Soil? And what were you doing and what stage were you at professionally?
right. Before coming to Soil, I was a brand strategist at Punjab's like topmost creative agency, which is called IOTA. So I was handling all the brand communication, the PR for clients and the agency as well.
Mhm.
So I worked 2 years, and before that, I am a content creator. I've been creating content since 5 years now. I have a little podcast that I host, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And at what point did you actually realize that you needed an MBA? Was there like a specific trigger or a key moment that made you realize that?
Yeah, exactly. When I started working at that creative agency, I was like very new to the entire corporate scene, and I didn't know how to like what is the ladder that you have to step up to get a better pay, and especially the place that I belong to that has a very the pay scale isn't like really cool like Delhi, Bangalore, and Mumbai, so it's like really less. So after 2 years, I felt that the work that I was doing that became like really spontaneous and plus monotonous also. So at that point of time, I thought that I think I should. It's time. Like I think I should, just end this right here, and that is how I started my MBA journey.
Thank you. And now, Aditi, in your case, you chose to pursue the 1 year MBA program, right? So, what gap were you particularly looking to bridge between your professional experience and with this MBA program?
Okay, so let's start with a quick introduction, I'd say.
Yeah.
My name is Aditi Shukla. I was born and raised in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Then I moved to Delhi to pursue my undergraduation from Motilal Nehru College, Delhi University itself. And, then I joined KPMG in 2020. COVID hit, and then I stayed there for like good 5 years. I was into audit. My domain was core audit, and I was serving to UK clients. And post 5 years I actually realized that it's high time for me to shift domain. So basically audit is majorly about how you check the numbers, what are the criteria to check the numbers that had been put by the management. So I thought, okay, let's move a little to the industry side. So that's how I realized that there is a need of doing some sort of upgrade or in the course or in the sort of curriculum or the course. So that's how Soil clicked, and a lot of alums from Soil Institute of Management are a very good friend of mine. So I had a chance to just meet up, and then they already got a good ROI from here. So we were just talking about. I remember the conversation that I had, and not just one. There were a couple of conversations before joining Soil. So I think somehow those all factors became something very concrete for me to just go ahead with this program, with this course and the domain, of course. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, the next question is open to both of you. When you were evaluating B schools, what were the key factors that actually mattered for you guys?
Aditi, you go first.
Okay, so I would say for me, again, as I mentioned before, alums, a couple of people who I think uh, did MBA in last to last batch. So they were good friends of mine from KPMG, from other big fours. So that was a major thing for me because considering the fact I was not looking at any other institute, so it was just one thing for me, a 1 year PGPM program. Uh, because I somehow had because I already had 5 years of experience and I wanted to pivot from audit to finance. So that was something that I looked, and of course the management here, the leadership here, and as well as when you get the backing of true people who talk true that okay dude, this is what you're gonna get, and you see this is what you can achieve. So yeah, those all factors were there that made me choose soil.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, it was like a little same to Aditi's. I got in contact on LinkedIn with the alums, uh, got to know about how stuff has been going in the college and what type of placements are getting there. And yeah, I mean, also surfed a lot of YouTube to find out the nicest colleges. And to be very honest, I didn't have like a really crazy score. So I had a very few choices, and I only applied to soil, and like luckily I got in, and it went well.
Wonderful. So, I mean, now that you guys are almost at the end of your journey here with us at Soil, looking back, was the experience aligned with what you expected before joining this institution?
You want to take it first, Tanmay, or you want me to?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So it perfectly did, I'd say. So be it the curriculum, be it the faculty, be it the placement, everything, just came in the way that I really thought it would. Um, Starting from faculty. So that was one of the key things that I had in mind. When you are actually pivoting and you have only 1 year, what you see is the curriculum and the faculty. I mean, at least to begin with. So I remember having really multiple conversations with the faculty about the industry, about the curriculum, what else that I can do apart from the curriculum that we have. And there are other parts of curriculum as well, which is SIP, Sidbari trip. So there was just a lot more that I really thought that an MBA college would have. So that was one thing. And absolutely the faculty that we have here, finance faculty, all the so in the term one, in the very first term, we studied all the subjects that are there for all the domains. So we had this chance to interact with all the people, all the faculty here. So and we got, I think, 2 months at this from the start in the start to actually choose which domain we would want to go into. So that was something, again, a good time for me to realize that okay, I really want to go for finance, though I already had made up my mind before. But again, a good buffer time you get. So yeah, and then placement happened. Placement, of course, is something that everyone would want to know about. So yeah, I think it was a perfect fit, and it was something that I planned. Yeah, so that's about me.
And what
Yeah.
about you, Tanmay?
Yeah. So when I was applying to colleges, uh, I thought that it would be like a really serious setting. हर टाइम पढ़ाई हो रही है सिर्फ, and I thought that it would be like too of a corporate vibe, because that is what we've heard about MBA, right? So, but when I came in, things were like way more interesting than, I had it in my UG. So there are councils, clubs, and everything. So I became the president of marketing club. That was a very nice thing about, because I was never like any council member or something. And in the like past also, in my UG also, in school also, I never had these presidential roles. So it was like really good for me. So after that, drop shipping challenges, and then role plays and everything that happened in the class, presentations, and then this Idbari trip happened. So the entire experience, when I look back at it, I think it was like really crazy. And I think it's a very nice roller coaster type of ride that has been. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to some questions about preparing for your placements, right? Because obviously placements, they don't happen overnight, right? So just as an honest answer, when did you guys seriously start preparing for placements, and how do you think that differs between the PGPM and PGDM campuses? Aditi, if you would like to go first.
Yep, sure. So I remember the CDS sessions started happening in the very start only.
Mhm.
So I remember having conversations with the faculty that we had for CDS, and she used to tell us, Aditi, today is the day. We got to start from today, and introduction is the toughest part. If you'd fumble, if you'd stammer in the introduction, it would absolutely put a stain on the image or whatsoever. So, I mean, I started from the beginning only, be it the curriculum, be it preparing for the interviews. I remember having so many mocks before, like mock interviews before with the faculty, with the peers, with the council that we have here. And I was also a part of placement committee, so yeah, that's something that was on top. And yeah, so I started from the beginning only. And how is it different for PGDM and PGPM, I'd say, is in the way that I think the job setting is such that a role that comes for PGPM requires a lot more experienced personnel, and they would expect a lot more of in-depth knowledge or the domain knowledge that you have. So you got to be very strong and very concrete on whatever you have studied before, or whatever experience you had before, and whatever you had studied in the college itself. So it's a good concoction of what your experience was, as well as what you learned during like 5 to 6 months of whatever you studied before placement. And also your values. Sometimes people clear the technical rounds, but at the end, values is something that people actually kind of stumble on. So that is something that you need to learn holistically, that technical knowledge, value based knowledge, and everything you need to put in place, and then you actually go for an interview in order to crack it right, in the in order to aim it in the correct direction, I'd say. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Yeah, so to be very honest, I started preparing for my placement when my best friend got placed. Like she got placed on the day zero, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like really crazy and hard-hitting moment that whoa, shit is about to get real.
Yeah.
So that was the point. Then, like, there were serious sessions happening. Then you have faculties who sit with you, talk to you. They make changes in your CVs. They tell you what to put, what not to, and how you can make it more effective, what type of data you need to put in. So, I mean, that entire process humbles you down, and then it tells you that there are many candidates who've been doing hard work since like a longer time than you, and you like really need to buckle up. And if you are going into an interview, it should be pitch perfect. You
Absolutely.
can't be lacking in the interview. I've known people who have like really nailed it in the technical rounds and all the assessments and the tests or the gamification rounds, but at the last round where it's all behavioral and they are really there to see your personality, that fails. So like Aditi said, you need to balance all of it, and you need to put it in the right place to get it right in the placement season.
Absolutely. And getting further into placement preparation, what does it practically mean to you guys? What were you maybe doing week by week in terms of personal preparation, or could you maybe delve a little bit about how many iterations your resumes maybe underwent?
So I mean, I honestly can't even remember the times of, you know, like I've changed my CV so many times because I had experience, like professional experience, and then I had 2 to 3 internships. So I had to cut off one internship because that was not aligning with the job description. So you have to be like really particular uh, about your CV. Like the entire CV should be aligning with the job description that is being sent by the company, because if that doesn't align it, that their what do we call the ATS software, the ATS rejects your CV. So Like it's that easy to get rejected. You have to take that total CV should, reflect your personality plus the values that need to be aligned with the company.
Right. Aditi, how about you? What does placement preparation practically mean to you?
So basically, I started from the start, as I just mentioned. So what I did was to strengthen my finance knowledge. So when we look at finance, it's really a big umbrella to cover. It's there are so many concepts that you need to learn, and still in the process that I'm learning a lot of things. So I was my real preparation started when company came in. Like in a way, we got an announcement. Okay, XYZ company is coming. So once you get the name of that company that's coming in and that you're targeting, you do a quick company research that okay, what sort of company is this, and is this something that I should target, and and also the role. So I remember when Oxane came in, I quickly did a check on Oxane and then the role that it came for, portfolio management services, and then I understood what exactly were the requirements. I started linking those requirements to my past experience, because for PGPM, it's more of past experience and a little less of what you have studied in 5 to 6 months, because 5 to 6 months, it's very a compressed time to actually excel in something, though it is a good time to actually pivot. Even I've pivoted. So a true example of it. But again, how you can connect the dots from your past experience to the role that you're getting or you are actually aiming, that's one key thing. And also for resume, I'd say I've gotten my resume checked, I don't remember, to the serious faculty, to the HOD here, to random people. I was just showing my CV. Dude, do you see any? Do you think I need to make some changes? So it was a complete process. So even I've forgotten the number of times I've gotten my CV checked. I myself was checking like 5 times a day. Is it correct? Is it looking like a is it looking okay, for that matter? So yeah, it was a continuous process. And there is no such number that I have, that exactly when I started, when it ended. So it was a continuous process, I'd say.
Exactly. I mean, refining your story is basically what it comes to at the end of the day, right? So I'm assuming like mock interviews were a key integral part of that process, right? So
Yep.
could you did you learn something about yourself during these mock interviews, and how did you pivot yourselves or your pitch through those learnings?
I can go first. Okay.
Anything? Yeah.
So during mock interviews, I realized that there are days. It's just about a day, the mindset that you had before entering the room. So that was one thing that I was sure that I was not aware of before. So what I had in my head, okay, I am having a good knowledge of whatever they're asking. I am having a good CV, a good academic. I'll just crack it. But then one day I entered the room, I had HOD in front of me, and I had this, my heart started beating, and I don't know what happened that day. And I realized, okay, Aditi, it's not just the prep, it's not just your, things that you did before entering the room. Whatever, I remember I did so many things. I started breathing heavily, and then this, and there were multiple things, I'd say. So when I entered, things went south, I'd say. So I started fumbling a little. So then that's when I realized that, okay, it's not the person, it's the confidence in me that I really need to boost. So that was one thing that I discovered about myself during mocks. And rest, I think, went fine only for me. The peers, what are they gonna ask? So barely something that I noticed about myself. It was pretty funny also. But yeah, maybe Tanmay, you can go now.
Yeah. So for me, what I discovered in the mock interviews, uh, and this was one thing that was shared by a recruiter. I was applying outside of the college for an internship. So one feedback that I got was that you come across as a really arrogant person. Like that was like completely my personality. Like if you've met me, you will know that I am not at all arrogant, right? But at that point of time, I think if someone has said it, it might have reflected in some, like, in my body language or the way I speak or something like that. So then I started giving mock interviews to the faculty here, and then they also noticed this. So at that point of time, I thought that I think I need to tone this down. I need to be like really polite in the interviews. My tone should not, exceed. I should not be loud. And whatever I deliver, I was delivering with confidence. But I don't know how I was being arrogant in that. But yeah, this was one feedback that like really helped me. So like I before Aditya Birla, I sat in two different companies, and I didn't get selected in those two. So after that, I like really took it to my heart that I think I need to change this. And then I sat with the faculties, talked about it, and how can I improve. And I think that really worked. The next company I sat in, I got through. So I think this is how like mock interviews like really help you.
That's
Seems to
good to
me,
hear, Tanmay.
pe- people say
I'm
that my
sorry,
resting
Aditi.
face is actually very rude and arrogant. But that was not something. I always carry a smile when you have to carry a smile when you enter the room. So that was something for me as well. So that I worked on. One point that I remembered. Yep, you was.
Yeah. Uh, so, since both of you come from a background of some sort of experience before, how did you actually decide which role or sector you guys wanted to target? I mean, Aditi, you pivoted, right? You pivoted careers. So, do you want to maybe start, or maybe we could end with you?
I can start.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before targeting one thing under this huge umbrella of finance, as I mentioned before, and I was already into audit, and I really wanted to move to industry. So, I still had that list right there hanging. I made a list of all the roles that can come in and that I really want to go to. Started from portfolio manager, FP&A, and then fund manager, ABS. There are multiple domains. Then I started studying for them, and then Oxane happened, and they came for PMS, and that was something that I was targeting. That was there on my list, and I thought, okay, let's. Why don't we just study for this? Why don't we just give it a try? And Oxane was the first company that I applied, not applied, that I got shortlisted for, and I sat for the interview. It went so smoothly that I barely realized that okay, there are other things also that I need to look at, or maybe some other options. So it happened so smoothly that I did not get a chance to look at other domains as well. But yeah, it was one of the domains that I was already targeting, so that was there for me. Yeah, it's a quite crisp answer considering the fact that I only sat for Oxane, and I somehow managed to slide into the smoothly from the placement process. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like, can you please repeat the question again? I was listening and I
Uh,
was so engrossed I forgot the question.
No, the question was just about how you decided to maybe target a specific role
Yeah,
or
got
a
it, got it,
sector.
got it. Okay. So, the 2 years of work experience that I have, that was totally on the creative side. Like I was into building content strategies, making content calendars, making content for clients. It was a total creative side. When we talk about marketing, there is like conventional marketing and then this modern age marketing that I was working in. So unlike finance, finance is like really vast. You need to have like great knowledge. So, in marketing, my first outlook was that I need to get into a good marketing role where, I can blend in the concepts with the creativity that I already have. But that was limiting me to apply to more companies. So at that point, I thought, I think it's time to like change a bit because I know that I have the creative juices in me that can work at any point of time, right? So at that point of time, I was targeting management trainee roles. So at that point of time, ABC came, and then it happened. And I am a very true believer of a thing called when it's your day, it's your day. Everything will go very smoothly if it's your day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think like that is it.
Yeah.
Plus one to whatever you said. Even I
Yeah.
believe in. So it's just the day you have that vibe and the energy that okay, I'll do it. And some days you don't. So it's just about your mindset and the day.
Yeah. Sometimes you are super utte, you are feeling that it is not the day.
Yeah,
And
yeah, correct.
I won't be, crossing even the psychometric round. So like, and then there's day when you clear the interview. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure self-doubt always creeps in, but I think
Yeah.
one thing is, everyone needs to keep that optimism up. Uh, in terms of maybe habits or discipline that you guys incorporated during your preparation, what do you think was that one habit that made the biggest difference during the final placement season?
You're going first?
I can.
Yeah.
I am not really a disciplined person, to be honest. I am the person who works under pressure. If you would give me a task and the deadline is tomorrow, then I'd work today the whole night and submit it tomorrow. And sometimes I start, it depends on the work. If it's really something that I would want to start a couple of days back before, I can. But during the preparations, of course, things get serious. You cannot really hang it to the last minute. So think consistency, I'd say. So you have to increase your sitting time, you have to study, especially for finance. You cannot just, uh, if a person is asking one quantitative question, the person would actually be expecting one answer. You can't really go here and there about the answer, with the answer. So yeah, that's one thing. Consistency was the one thing that I managed to had during the time. So yeah, that's for me.
And what about you,
I feel
Tanmay?
I like +1 for consistency, and then the current like the very continuous learning process. Like when I was sitting for interviews, we were told that there are companies coming in which will actually like give you a laptop during your interview process and tell you to like sort the data or like write a code or something like that. So that was really scary for me because I was very bad with softwares. So during this time, I really brushed up the Excel skills. Then there is Power BI, then there is R. So I had to sit down, like I had a routine. 2 hours after college, you have to sit down, watch YouTube videos, and figure out how to do stuff on LinkedIn, on Excel, and Power BI, making dashboards and everything. So that is one thing, like continuous upskilling in yourself, like that is great. And then plus you have stories to tell in the interview if you are upskilling.
So continuous learning and consistency, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the actual selection process now, because I think a lot of the people joining us today would be very curious about how that process goes. So, we can start with Tanmay first. What did your recruitment process actually look like? Was there like a cascading level as to there was an aptitude test first, or a case study, technical round, HR round? How did
Yeah.
that go?
So firstly, CV shortlisting. You like register, fill in your application. Then second round was psychometric test. So the psychometric test usually वो कैसे होते हैं? It is on a Likert scale from like 0 to 5. There are questions asked, then you have to rate that. Right? That is how usually psychometric tests go. But with ABC, it was totally different. Like we all never expected a psychometric to come like that. It only had two questions. The first one was, how do you think you will be seen by people in a corporate office, right? It's how I feel. And then the second question was, how will other people from a third eye view, how will they see you as a person? And there were 30 to 40 words, all qualities, and now you have to choose. These were the only two questions that came in. And 300 people applied. The shortlist was 70 after that. Like, so they were looking for all those qualities because, and that was also because their JD didn't have roles and responsibilities. They had a couple of qualities that were mentioned, that we are looking for a person, for example, who's agile, who's ever learning, and things like that. So, like reading the JD and researching about the company and the values and how you can fit in, that helped, I get, at that point of time. And then after psychometric there was one round of interview, and then there was a final round. with the head HR over there. So both the rounds they were totally in the grilling mode. Like the very first interview that I had, I was very bluntly, I was said to my face that your profile looks like you are a jack of all trades and master of none. And then he stopped, took a dramatic pause, and situations like these happen where you have to, tackle situations, tackle what type of stories do you tell at that point of time that makes up at that question. And then there was a situation that was given to me, that you are in an organization, X person did this, how will you react to this, what is the impact of this on the entire organization, so things like that. And the last interview was thoroughly behavioral, asked about my family, my background, what all did I do in my UG, in my PGDM. So it was chill. The second round was chill, but the first one was really grilling.
Right. And what about you, Aditi?
There were multiple rounds for me. So started with the CV selection, and then we had a PPT. We got to know about what all are they asking for or what all are they looking for. So post then we had aptitude, and I remember there were 30 people before, and post apti there were just eight. Um, and then we had two technical rounds, one with the manager and the next one with AVP, and the last round was with the HR head again. So I remember it was late night, I think 10ish, when we were at the point when actually the process ended. So, and I think the technical rounds were technical and they were tough. You cannot really go any other way about it. So but again, the manager round was pretty tough for me. So the very first technical round was when she grilled. Actually, she started asking if you have 100 crores in your account, where which industry would you invest, which company would you invest in, and what are the parameters that you would be having in mind. So I structured that answer correctly, and there were multiple such questions. So this is one of the questions that I can actually tell you, and you would understand. Otherwise, I actually have to, convert those jargons to layman language. So yeah, let's just leave that. But yeah, there were two technical rounds, one HR round at the end, one apti before, and then CV shortlist. So that makes it a total of five. So yeah, that was my process, and the key factor of all the processes were, I think, holding the domain knowledge, holding the company knowledge, holding the role knowledge. A good mix of these three can actually make a candidate a good fit. That's what my perspective of that. And yeah, at the end only two people got selected, Harshvardhan, Sureka, and I. So yeah, that is what that day looked like.
Right. And in terms of the actual questions that were asked to you guys, is there one such question that you can't ever forget because of how challenging it was? Or to either of you guys? I mean, Tanmay obviously spoke about the statement that
Yeah.
the interviewer left on you.
Like
So
that
do
is a
you?
total dig at your personality. You cannot overcome that.
Right. So, apart from that, were there any other such questions that still remain with you, maybe from your previous processes, or from your own placement process?
Yeah, I told mine.
Okay. So for me, it was the first process, as I mentioned. And I think one of the questions was this only, that if I had first of all, believing that I had 100 crores was a big thing. And then actually investing in a company, choosing an industry, choosing a company, choosing a domain, and why would I invest? So I actually structured that answer in a different way. So what you wanted to check is, do I read newspaper daily? Do I know what's happening around? So which industry would I be going into? Is it going to be tech? Is it going to be some other industry? And then which company? So I structured that answer using the current affairs. So that was the key that I picked. So yeah, that was one question, and there was another puzzle that she gave me. If I had like eight iron balls and they weigh no, I had 9 iron balls and 8 weigh the same and one weigh 100 grams more, but they look same. By the look of it, by the look at it, you cannot tell which one is heavier actually. And you have like a weighing scale, not the one that tells you what is the weight, but like the old tarazu jasa weighing scale. And then how many rounds would it take for you to actually get the outlier, which is 900 grams. So that was one tricky question, but I managed to solve it. So yeah, those were the kind of, and there were questions around the ratios, all the financial ratios. And then why am I pivoting? That was one question that she said, you were in KPMG, it was one of the big fours. Why would you want to switch to Oxane partners, that too altogether a different domain, altogether a different sort of company set? Why would you want to switch? So that answer again, I had a strategy before to answer that question, because you're shifting, you're pivoting, so you must be having that sort of answer. So yeah, those were the kind of questions that were asked in my process.
Right. So obviously, your domain knowledge needs to be at
Yes.
its peak.
Yes, for
And
finance, 100%.
yeah. And then, beyond just your domain knowledge, what do you think recruiters were actually evaluating?
You
Tanmay,
go first.
go first. Apart from what? Sorry, come again.
Apart from, just the domain-based knowledge, what else do you think the
Yeah.
recruiters were evaluating?
A good human being that can, coexist beautifully, that can help people, help peers learn. So in my resume and in my experience, I managed to coach a lot of juniors of mine. So from the very so in KPMG especially, what you have one you get 1 to 2 years before you actually handle a client directly. So in my case, I handled a client at the very start of second year. So that was one plus point that I had to tell in my value based interview. So it's more about what are your values, what kind of human you are, what personality are you carrying, is it easy, are you easy to approach, how would you tackle a difficult situation maybe. So there were a couple of situational questions that he asked. One of them was, um, what are the 5 bad things that you have about KPMG that you never mentioned before. So that was a very tricky question, so I only managed to say two that were also driven from the external environment. So I said work from home. But that was not something that KPMG only did. It was something driven from the uncontrollable factor, which was COVID 19. So a couple of other points. So of course, the questions were tricky, but then again, you have to sit back and think how can you answer it in a way that the recruiter will understand that you are an easy person at least. So yeah, that's one thing that I thought that the recruiter would be looking at apart from your technical or domain knowledge.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same, that they are in the search of a person that you can coexist with in an organization. And they also test this one thing, that whether this person shakes under pressure or not. So they'll keep putting you in tricky situations in your interviews, just to check like that if that person can take this type of pressure or not. And again, they are looking for a good human being. I would like totally support Aditi's statement, because they don't want someone who doesn't respect their co-workers. Yeah. So I mean, they are looking for a very good human being who can do their work, and you can, like, that person can ace it.
Absolutely. And I think Aditi also spoke about how current affairs were incorporated into her questions, right? So, Tanmay, did you face any sort of those questions where current affairs played a big role?
Like personally, no,
Mhm.
I wasn't in the positions or in those roles where the questions were asked based on that. But yes, I was like really into watching like long YouTube videos on the current affairs that were happening. Like for example, abhi recently US tariffs and everything.
Yeah.
So these are like some major topics, the major events that take place. I think you should have that type of knowledge. even if you're not sitting in the placements, or you are not in the this entire scenario also, I think you should be aware on these topics, because when you are in corporate, you will need to have discussions about this. Like, so you will look very dumb. It's totally this way. Like, if you need to fit in, you need to know about things that are like totally going around you.
Absolutely. Even for the GDs, you have to
Yeah,
be well equipped.
exactly.
For the interviews only, you need to be well prepared for all the hot topics.
Yeah.
Right. And, just based on your observations and your own personal experiences, what is it that you guys think the one mistake that students commonly make during these interview processes?
I think they start a little late. That's what I felt. Like right now, I'm seeing a couple of friends of mine who started a little late, who were like pretty chill. Okay, whenever the companies would start coming, we will start preparing then. Especially for PGPM, I think we should have. That's what I feel again. We should have pulled our socks before everything started. So that's what I feel. You take things lightly at the start, and then you see everything actually falling upon you. So that's one pressure that you get eventually when your friends started getting placed, when you see people moving ahead and making plans. What would they do? How would they spend their first salary? And here you are, do not have anything. So instead of starting late, just start on time, or at least before time. I mean, if not before time, then at least on time, I'd say. So that's one thing that I feel people are lacking.
Yeah. For me, I feel, uh, firstly, people are laid back, and it is too late when they realize that everyone is being placed and I'm just here not getting shortlisted. And second thing is, bouncing upon the opportunities that you get. Like, जो बहुत basic outlook होता है, that is कि not this company, I think this role won't suit me, and just being picky about what type of roles do you need. Because I have had people who were saying that we need finance jobs, but then they've got marketing jobs, and they've joined also. Like, they have their early joinings and they are doing really well and they are really enjoying it. So having that rigid mindset कि हमें एक ही चीज करनी है, and not experimenting with yourself at the age when you when you really can. Like, I totally get it when you are doing a PGPM, because then you have a lesser time span to experiment with yourself. Like, it would be really risky for Aditi to pivot the entire thing, because her entire trajectory was something else and now she's in finance. So we have a little longer time span to experiment with ourselves, and I think people should keep experimenting with themselves.
So yeah, be open-minded to all of the
Yeah,
opportunities that
exactly.
you guys are getting, right? And of course, don't wait till the 11th hour to complete
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
Because
Uh,
then you can only cry.
yeah. And then, this question is again open for both of you. What is the one thing that you really underestimated before the placements began? Aditi,
Nothing.
would you like to?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I was pretty scared of the whole process because I started early because of that only. I am a little timid when it comes to all of these, scary things like placements. Because I was told before that placements are a very luck based sometimes.
Yeah.
And also, as I mentioned, it's about the day. And all I had in my hands was preparation. So I did not take anything lightly at all, especially when you have only 6 months in prep before the placement start. So yeah, that's for me nothing.
Yeah. So also, when you are in this situation, when you are all running in the same race to get a good job, you
Yeah,
cannot underestimate anything. Not even your peers, not even your best friend.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Because when my best friend got placed, I was hit like a rock. I was happy for her, but I was also like कि शायद मेरा भी हो जाता.
Wait,
But
who is she? You have mentioned her thrice.
yeah, she got a PPO opportunity.
Oh, is it?
So
Okay, yeah, you
yeah, so
mentioned her.
that
Yeah.
is why. That is why. Like, she completed her internship and then she had a job also.
Oh, okay.
So that is why, like, our entire friend group was a little shook, and at that point of time, we all thought that we need to give it a good try now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for all the future students that may be starting their MBAs soon, what skill do you guys think every MBA student should consciously build early into their MBA programs?
It's a mix of a lot of things. I'd say core technical knowledge for finance and for other domains as well. You should also be working on your personality, I'd say. It's not just always about how crazy you are with your brains, it's also about how people perceive you as a person and how easy you are with people. So, what I feel like having a good network, having good connection with everyone, that's one thing that MBA teaches you to work under stress. I mean, I remember at the start there were no Sundays for me, and especially I live in Delhi, and the campus is in Gurgaon, so I used to travel. So that exhaustion was pretty much a lot for me. So I think even in those times, I remember the first term was pretty tough, and it is made such way that the pressure is actually being felt. So for me, it is actually how you are with people, how you're treating them. Do you are you a leader? Can you actually build a team, or maybe take them along with you? So these are the other non-technical skills or non-technical capabilities that you can build.
Yeah, I would also support this. Like, you should know how to talk to people nicely. You should be available to help people, and you should be vocal when you need help. I think it's a
Absolutely.
in this entire environment, it is all about just, supporting peers and getting help from them as well. So it is a loop of learning only. And I earlier mentioned also that you should not stop learning at any point. Like, even after I've been placed, I like still practice Excel, data sorting, predictive analysis, and everything, because that is what our seniors have told us. Like, the people who've been working there, they told that you need a hands-on knowledge. Like, you need to know shortcuts because the work is extensive.
Mm.
I think that the entire loop of learning things, yeah, that is it.
Everything is iterative, I'd say, again, to what he
Yeah.
said. You can't really stop post placement and even post MBA. If you'd stop, things would stop. The ecosystem actually would stop. So yeah,
Mm.
let's just move. That's the easiest way to put it across.
Yeah, the startups have failed because they chose not to,
Yeah.
adapt to and evolve to the current scenarios. So that is like the very basic example that you can give.
Absolutely. Stagnancy is where like things start
Yeah.
getting difficult. Uh, and now, finally, what advice would you give to someone who is currently evaluating soil for round three of admissions?
Tanmay, you take it first, please.
Okay. So I'll tell all the plus points that you get. Firstly, they have a very mixed type of curriculum where you are, learning practical skills when you are going on ground, and then you are learning all the technical concepts, पढ़ाई जो usually होती है. I'll give a very small example, drop shipping challenge, where we really needed to, we had to go to markets that were like in deep roots of Delhi, old Chandni Chowk, and the Light Bazaar and everything. We went there, we talked to vendors, and that teaches you how you should deal with people who are not aware of where you are coming from, firstly, and they don't have that business school वाला जो outlook होता है ना पूरा, with all the fancy terms. They just know how to build a business and they are doing it since years. So going there, negotiating, the art of negotiation. I've personally learned how to negotiate with people. I मेरी आदत ही नहीं थी to negotiate when I was living there in Chandigarh. When I came here in Delhi after this activity, it is now an inbuilt feature in me to just negotiate on things. So then, thirdly, is the Himalayan retreat. That is a really humbling experience. You go there, meet people. Like, we had the chance to meet the Mahila Mandals of the God villages. So we talked to them, and that entire experience. It had activities, meditations. Then there were people who came from the village, told about their businesses. So then you have a very practical outlook towards life, and that entire experience is really humbling. So I think it is a total mix of studies and practical knowledge, and it is always great to be here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I
Plus,
really had fun.
yeah, actually agreeing to what Tanmay has just mentioned, but also the fact that I was already a good negotiator before. Only the difference. And also, one more point I'd say that here the faculty, especially for PGPM, they are not really the teachers. They are the people who are coming in with the industry exposure. So, apart from, I don't remember actually going through a concept from books. Actually worked on case studies. I
Exactly.
remember going through all the scams that happened over the years. That's the best way to actually learn from the faults that people have made. So, for my course, I'd say yes, it was more of case studies driven. That too from HPS, not really a normal case study.
Yeah.
I mean, a normal person would not be able to get it because it's a little expensive. So, for I think an organization like college, they give it at a discount. I don't know, but those were some good quality case studies that we worked on. So the curriculum is good. It's something that actually can be modified and molded in a way that that you would want. So for me, I really wanted some extra classes of marketing for some or the other reason, because I was finding it interesting. So I had a word with the program office, and they made me aware of this extra case studies and some extra classes. So I sat down, I studied, and again, so the curriculum is good, faculty is amazing, I'd say. And placements, if you would study hard from the day one, and if 20% I'd give it to luck also. If your luck on that very day is just okay or good, then things would go down the way that you would have wanted. So especially for, I think, Tanmay and I, it has worked out
Yeah.
nicely. So yeah, be optimistic, live the day. I would say every day in MBA is pretty much challenging. Only you get to do the work that you have never either done before, or something that you would want to do differently, some new approaches altogether. So be a little open to things, I'd say.
Yeah, I would like to add one point.
Yeah.
Uh, Aditi mentioned faculties. So there is Naveen sir who worked at IKEA when IKEA first came to India. So like he was in that core team when like IKEA really came to India to set up headquarters here. So he was that one person in their core. So I mean, people are here. People are so skilled that they have big industry exposures. We have faculties from IIT Delhi also, and the entire learning process is again what Aditi said. It is through case studies and personal learnings of the teachers.
Absolutely. So
Please,
what he just mentioned, Naveen Rao, sir, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He was the one who was actually looking after the supply chain there. And
exactly. Same
guess
here.
what he's teaching? Supply chain in the
Yeah,
best possible way. So, when the person is having that sort of experience, and the person is coming with good years of experience, and then if that is something that the person is bringing on table, what else would you need?
yeah.
So that's one thing that I have. That's actually something that is very different for soil. So yeah.
And yeah, he really taught me the art of storytelling. Like
Mm.
after working in branding, I didn't have a perspective to storytelling because he said 50% of your interview lies on the storytelling part. Like how good are you at communicating all those concepts and theories that you've learned in class through stories? And how do you mix it up with your experience that you have? So that is one amazing thing. So like things like these you can learn here at Soil.
Right.
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing those insights. I think what clearly came through these answers was that placements are definitely built through structured preparation and clarity, and not last minute effort.
Yeah.
We will now open the floor to questions from the audience. Uh, so, one of our attendees has a question. Apart from the work experience, does the past academic performance profile and extracurricular achievements matter in PGPM and PGPM HR placements? Uh, So I think Tanmay would be able to answer more about the work experience part of this because PGPM students are, of course, all with work experience.
I am from PGPM. I can take.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can take it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, just a moment. Let me just go through the question again so that I can cover all the parts of it. Okay. So, yes, it does matter. Your academics and your past, I mean, work experience as well as your academics, considering the fact which company you're applying. So, there are a lot of companies that came in who, for them, I don't think so that was something that they were looking at. But again, if that's there on your CV and that is something that is making you an outlier from the crowd, then why not? But also, it's not something that is the only thing that people are or the companies are looking at. So I would say if you do not have a good academic record or maybe a good work ex, then also I think there is just a lot that you can do in college. And again, as Tanmay has already learned it from Naveen sir, that how to build a story and tell it in a way that that is promising, that sounds promising to the recruiter, then why not? There are so many skills to learn during your MBA. So that's my take. If you have it, good. If you do not have, work. That's it.
Can I add something? Like,
Yes.
I have never been that person who will like study a month before the exams, and I've been like this throughout my entire life, and I have not got kuch crazy 95, 99% marks in my 10th and 12th. It was 11th maybe and 12th maybe I had 80% marks, and I think that doesn't matter. It is what you learn in the MBA school, plus if you have a little experience, that totally works. Everyone
Yes.
comes here with a very fresh slate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And also, every individual is different. You
yeah.
might be you might be meeting people who would be having crazy background. Like
Hmm.
there were people, and I am also like one of them who actually studied a lot, who pretended to be the first bencher, but of course who was skipping classes also. But yes, I managed to put good numbers on my CV. But again, there were people who were not that who did not have that academically strong background but still managed to position somewhere themselves somewhere good.
Yeah.
So again, that's up to you. If you do not have it, work hard, a little hard. It's okay, it's achievable, it's not that big of a thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, Another question is, if you guys could do it all again, what would you do differently? Tanmay, would you like to start with that?
These questions sound like we are on a podcast
Yeah.
and we have built a 100 CR company.
Need to think.
Yeah, need to think. I think I could have studied more. Like that's one.
That's one thing that I did. So I what I would have done, I would have enjoyed a little more. I would say I live in Delhi. I actually spent a lot of time in traveling. I could have skipped this part. I would have stayed there, enjoyed a lot of drunk, totally passed out nights with friends, though I still have so many friends from work here. But yeah, I should have enjoyed more.
And you
Could
know
have.
what? I did that. I did that.
I know you had 2 years, Tanmay, come
Yeah.
on. I had just one. But yeah, I could have. So something that I can change if I had to.
Is
Yeah.
to enjoy a little more.
Yeah, a little more. I could have.
Another one of the common questions is how should students actually be handling, rejections during the placement process?
Tanmay, please take this because
Yeah.
I need to actually frame an answer for that.
Yeah. So when you are in this environment where it is like your entire fate is totally decided by the number of placements you've sit in, the ones you've converted, what type of package you have, it is totally filled with rejections from the very start. And it will start from the very base level, even when you are, just standing at a president position. And if you are not selected for a president, that's a rejection. If your assignment is graded low, that is a rejection. So I think rejection तो सीख ही लेनी चाहिए लाइफ में सबको, like from a very beginning, from
Yeah.
a very starting point, rejections, if you if you don't have the courage to face rejections, like you have cut your chances by 50 to making it up to somewhere. I mean, everyone, yeah,
Yeah. Also,
it,
to
it
make you feel okay is that
yeah,
you are actually one of us. So
exactly.
we have faced so many rejections in our past life or whatsoever.
Mhm.
Maybe not this in MBA college, but if I would have had, it's okay. It would have been okay. I would have believed in myself. I would have given a little extra time.
Yeah.
I would have still managed to crack some other role because, and also to give you another perspective, whosoever has asked this question, another perspective that I remember having a conversation with one of the alums, and he mentioned that Aditi, do not think that, uh, post-your convocation companies do not come in, and there were good companies that came in at last, and there were people who did not get selected earlier. They got a chance to sit for those companies, which was a dream company for the people who already got selected before.
Mhm.
So there are so many cases. You can fit in one of them, but don't please don't think that rejection is something that is going to hold you back and you are uh, 1 in 100. No, all 100 are the same.
Yeah.
We all have faced rejection one or the other time, maybe this year, last year. It's a part of life.
I've faced rejections during the time of internships. Like companies were coming in, and I sat in six different companies, got rejected from all. So I mean, it also depends on your personality or how a person is from within. Like you should, I think it is like fundamental to, you should know how to deal with rejections at this point of time. And I think it is a part and parcel of the entire process.
If you are getting rejected, sit with your friends, build another strategy, come up with something new. Maybe that would work. If that doesn't, something other than whatever you have decided earlier. So it's again an iterative process that we mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Right. Uh, and there are some attendees which are very curious about the specializations that you guys took up. And also, if you guys are comfortable, they're also asking about the packages that you receive. Please, I mean, it's up to your discretion. If you guys are comfortable, you can share it.
Yeah, I've spoken about it in the previous YouTube videos as well. So my specialization was in marketing. I then you have a choice to choose your majors and minors. So for personally, I chose my minors as general, where I had combinations of subjects. Like I had few subjects from operations and two subjects from HR because that really intrigued me. So then you have this entire course outline that comes to you before you choose your majors and minors. So my major was marketing, and then I had like a mixed combination of subjects that was my minor, and I am placed at Aditya Birla, and the package is 20 LPA for a management trainee.
Right.
I am from finance cohort. I'd say I was pretty sure of like going with finance only, though I actually, experimented with other cohorts as well. As I mentioned, that I took some extra classes of marketing to actually, know the concepts more because I somehow thought that okay, this could be the other domain that I really would want to, deep dive a little more. So uh, that's one thing. Domain is finance. I was already a little sure before, and then I, got for finance, got in, and then about the package, I'm placed at Oxane Partners for PMS, Portfolio Management Services Associate, and the package is 23 in total.
Oh,
Right.
that is like really great package. What else do you need?
अभी मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकती इस पे सॉरी विल टेक्स्ट यू
Uh, and just another very common question, how many roles should a student realistically and ideally be applying to? Do
all
you
the roles
think?
that you find that are
Yeah.
aligning to whatever you are gonna go for. Starting from, I mean, do not just wait for the one perfect company. That would come, and of course, that's gonna come because it's there on the list. But again, of your chances getting selected, you will also have to figure that out. You should always having that probability mindset that if it's gonna happen and if it doesn't, then at least start a little before, I'd say. So all the companies, all the roles, so if you find a good role, an okayish company, go for it. Why not? And if you're finding good company and a little okayish role, why not? I mean, it's up to you what you find good at that very moment. So I was pretty much, I was a little biased toward getting a good role, but I somehow got a good mix of both, a good company and a good role. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah. I have one point to add to this. Like people who have marketing as their specialization, they have this outlook कि हमें sales की नौकरी नहीं चाहिए. They
Mm.
they always prefer being in the office, and like in our batch also, like many of our friends also, they've told us ki we don't want to be in sales, हमें sales job नहीं करनी, we want a core marketing. And I think that is not how it entirely works. Like I feel if you get an opportunity, if you are eligible for that, apply to it,
Right.
because you never know what type of, like, how will you perform in a sales role. Because I have friends who perform like really nice in their sales internship. The roles were totally sales and they did extremely well and their outlook completely changed, and they are now applying for sales jobs. So I think we also said it earlier, one should keep experimenting with all of this.
And also, if your requirements are 80% aligning to the role that's coming in,
Yeah,
you should
yeah.
do it. So that's
Right.
something to answer the question.
All right. I think that's coming to the end of the session today. So as we conclude, I would want to thank both of you, Tanmay and Aditi, for sharing your experiences so candidly with all of us here today. And for all of the aspirants attending today, the key takeaway is simple. Career outcomes are built through clarity, discipline, and structured preparation over the entire duration of the program. It starts when you start, right? So, if soil aligns with your goals, we encourage you to complete your application before the round 3 deadline on the 22nd of February 2026. And thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to interacting with you further. Have a
Thank you,
great evening,
guys.
everyone.
Yeah,
And thank you
thank
once
you.
again, Tanmay Aditi, for giving us your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Yeah.